Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of your favorite midday NFL show on the internet, Fourth and Forever, brought to you by Roundtable Sports, real coverage from real fans. What is going on, everyone? As you're coming in, please do us a favor, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications. Richie, how's life, man?
Life's going great. It's going great. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. June 17th. Another afternoon talking NFL with you all, man. We're just living the dream out here, living the dream.
Just living the dream, man. I love to hear it. And what about you, TD? Talk to me, man.
Usual. Beautiful day. Today we getting the move on. We standing up. Y'all sit down, guys. We standing up today. We're putting some energy in everything we do. And it's Fourth and Forever, man. It's Fourth and Forever. We're here live 2 to 3 p.m. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Shout out to the Mod Squad and all of the members of the channel. Thank y'all for your continued support right here on Roundtable Sports and Fourth and Forever. Let's get it.
So I got to tell you what, guys. You know what? It's clear that Richie and I, we are big Bryce Young fans, right?
Oh,
but
wow.
as teased yesterday, right? I did say that I started unpacking a bit of film analysis, right? And unfortunately, I'm still seeing some red flags from this young man, so I'm tapering my expectations, right? It turned out the reason Bryce Young was benched last year was due to the fact that he has some of the most unorthodox footwork I have ever seen from a quarterback ever, right? Very surface level basics. Footwork when it comes into a 3-step drop back is normally for short routes, slants, comebacks, etc. 5-step back is about intermediate routes. And why that is so imperative is because that allows your receivers to actually get open, like actually get to the break of their said route. And Bryce Young is out there tap dancing. Like very oftentimes, like you'll see him go out there and like have like a 7-step drop back on a small little slant route, and his timing is off. He's on his tiptoes, etc.
Let me ask you this. Came back. Did you use this from the film thing that you did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, with this film review, are they showing all the things that they need to work on or are they also showing when he came back after he was benched film?
When he came back, so that's where I'm coming with. His footwork still was the same, but I think what Canales did was that he put like something in his head. Like he basically put an unorthodox solution to an unorthodox way of doing it. So now I'm kind of wondering if that sort of thing is sustainable. Like he made some crazy throws against Kansas City. He made some crazy throws against Philly, really stepped up and played. He basically put an unorthodox solution to his unorthodox footwork. And now my question is that sustainable? Hey, say that works. That works. But I still think I'm pretty high on Bryce Young going into the season. Richie, comments on expectations. Bryce Young, year 3.
Yeah, I think, I'm looking at their squad right now. They got an underrated team around him in terms of, remember when they spent a lot of money on the offensive line? What was that, 2 off seasons ago? Robert Hunt, all these guys. And I think that there is a world where Bryce Young clicks, and it's not all just on him, right? It's not all just on him. I think it's a mixture of a lot of different things. And you look at what Bryce Young did so well in the back end of the season. I'm excited to see what he can do this year. You talk about drafting Ted McMillan. You got Xavier Legette. You still got Adam Thielen. Wow, I didn't even know this. Hunter Renfrow is on the Panthers.
Renfro's on the damn Panthers, baby.
What? Tommy Tremble.
A Myrtle Beach legend. A Myrtle Beach legend.
So I think that there's some interesting talent. They're in a division that's wide open. They're one of those teams that started picking up some steam at the end of the season. This could be one of those sleeper teams. Now, I am not taking the Panthers to be a sleeper team where they go on a run in the playoffs, but I think the Panthers are going to be better than some people think. Like the Jets are facing off against the Panthers, and Jets fans are like, oh, we got the Panthers. I'm like, do we got the Panthers? We don't know that. Like the Panthers could be good. I mean, absolutely. So I'm excited to see what Bryce Young's capable of. And the reason why there's expectations on it, is what? He's a first overall pick. Why was he a first? Like, if you're drafted first overall, you are expected to be a very good player. Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams are all the most recent first overall picks. And we're expecting them to be elite, right? Cam Ward, I think we're expecting. If he lives up to his potential as a first overall pick, he's got a ball. So I'm curious to see what the Panthers look like. And it's interesting review, Dan, because the footwork is everything. And if the way to clean up the footwork is not physically, it's your mental ability to connect everything. And that's what this is all about. When it comes to quarterbacks, can you process the field? Can you tie your head to your feet? And that's really where a lot of these quarterbacks have difficulties doing at the next level.
It's crazy too with Bryce Young because like his protection last year was not that bad. Was not that bad at all. But like you saw him so nervous toward the beginning of the season where he had a fully clean pocket and he just was not patient at all, allowing these wide receivers to get into their breaks, and he would check it down more than ever. But then when he got back from being benched, like that's when you saw his balls drop and was a hell of a lot more ready to go downfield. I just hope Canales can put it together. And I'm very hyped about Hunter Renfrow as well, man. I want to see that man make a tremendous comeback. TD, thoughts? Go ahead.
Listen, I'm not very high on Bryce Young. Never have been. I think I've been on record expressing that. Listen, he started out rough. He made some improvements in which he got an opportunity to get back into the action. But at the end of the day, I got to say this, though. I think Carolina did him a disservice benching him in the first place because just like here's the deal. The first game, he had like 40% completion percentage, and he struggled minorly. Okay, it's one game. He came back the very next week and had 69% completion percentage. He didn't throw any touchdowns, and he had one pick in that game, but that's progress, right? And they bench him. Mm-hmm. They just bench him right after that, sit him for 2 games, and then they mess with him with the Chicago game. He played like 4 plays or something like that, something crazy like that. Then they bench him again the next week and for the next 2 weeks. And when he came back, he hit the ground running, 65% completion. It started to get better, but truth be told, it was still rough. Nobody talked about that. Here's the difference. The team started to win, but his numbers still weren't jumping out the gym. Now, his last 3 games that he played were phenomenal, though. You know, well, not so much phenomenal. He didn't turn the ball over. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions against Arizona in overtime. He lost to the Bucs. He had a bad game, in my opinion, 53% completion, but he did have 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. And the last game of the season, his highlight, 74% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions versus Atlanta in a meaningful game in overtime because Atlanta was still fighting to get in. So, and this was a divisional game, and they were able to win that game. So, yeah, he finished a little stronger, but this hype that when he back, he was balling, it's a little bit overblown in my opinion. When you really look at it, it was still a roller coaster of up and down play. But when a team is winning, it's like, oh, well, you know, hey, things are on the up and up. But I challenge people because they weren't winning. They weren't winning. When he got back from being benched, I have it right here. Let me see. He played 10 games when he got back from being benched, and they lost 7 of them. They lost 7 of them. And he didn't play all great in all of them. He had some moments. He's still developing as a quarterback. Again, I actually don't believe in him, but let's see what this year unfolds. This is a very important year for Bryce Young.
Well, chat, let us know your thoughts of Bryce Young, and don't forget to hit that like button. Top Flight says Bryce Young is super skilled, right? And I think he is a skilled quarterback, and his size is against him, so I'm curious to see what he looks like if it all clicks. Now, Dan, I know that you did some Justin Fields film. I'm definitely curious to get your thoughts about
who's TJ McConnell.
TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell is a player on the Indiana Pacers who comes off the bench. I could definitely see that connection.
Killed the Knicks.
Oh, wow.
He is my worst nightmare. No, he kills the Knicks. No matter what team he's on, he's this little like 5. He feels like he's 5'1", running around, just being pesky and annoying, hits these little baby jump shots. TJ McConnell, man. He's one of my least favorite players in the NBA. No matter what team he's on, he just is insane against the Knicks. Just dominates us every time in those annoying ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he's great, though. I got to respect it.
So I did have an opportunity of watching Justin Fields. And let me just say, Jets fans are very upset with me. After breaking this down. Of course, thanks to Richie's retweet.
Well, I brought him your way.
But look, right?
Some Jets fans, I will say, though, Dan, were saying, no, Dan's right, by the way. It's not just all Jets fans are upset. Some Jets fans are like, nah, Dan is 100% right, which I said that, of course, to, engage people. Yo, Dan's a hater. Everyone hate on him. He's not a hater.
No. Listen, man, I do love it. Listen. And so I love the love and I love the hate. It's completely fine. But so one thing I noticed based off of it was key differences from how they used him over in Chicago and then how they also ended up using him over in Pittsburgh. In Chicago, they really allowed him to attempt to stretch the field with deep ball accuracy, or at least attempt to put out some sort of deep route accuracy, etc. And he struggled, right? But then when he ended up going over to Pittsburgh, what Mike Tomlin did was that he ended up reverting back to the most elementary style of offense you could possibly see, right? A lot of hot routes that were like ready to go, safety blankets, say, for example, that he was going to be receiving quite a bit of pressure. And a lot of the times you would see him. So when you would see like match coverage on one side of the field, but then you had like a quality safety route right off to the other side, Fields basically ended up putting way too much confidence within his own arm strength or his arm talent to try and squeeze it in with specific windows, where he had several other options where oftentimes he didn't even turn his head to identify that said player. Now, I'm not sure, say that it had to do with so I'd say the head scratching offensive line, like maybe he was nervous. He was like, oh shit. And so I'm about to get absolutely clocked. And he didn't have time to go through his progressions, but he just didn't look confident in Pittsburgh. Yes, I understand he went 4-2. And yes, I understood that like he threw for over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, but not a lot of very advanced things were going into that Pittsburgh offense, right? Like Mike Tomlin did not just bench him because he promised Russell Wilson was going to be the starter going into it. He saw something from Justin Fields, like during that 6-game stretch where he was just like, look, and so I'm playing with fire right here, and we have a better shot at winning with Russell Wilson. So
why do you think the Steelers want to bring him back?
Probably with uncertainty of whether or not that Aaron Rodgers wanted to come back. Like, I think that he's a quality backup, right?
So there are some plays I want to highlight in that. Shout out to Jackson Kruger Sports. He's one of my favorite guys to watch film. Dan, you would like his channel. Dan Kruger Sports. He breaks down film. He actually just uploaded a YouTube video that I want to show you guys real quick. And it's just one play of Justin Fields. It says this one play shows you why you still can't fully give up on Justin Fields. And this is cool because he's objective. This is not a Jets fan whatsoever. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting video. So we brought up one play with the Steelers last year, and I'll break it down for you guys. The reason why I like it a lot. And Jackson breaks this down beautifully in his video as well. So this is the things that I see in Justin Fields, that if he can do this consistently, this is what all, the top level quarterbacks do consistently, right? So in this play, I'll just play it through and pause it in between. So it's a deep drop back, pause it there. He's looking at his first read, which is, I'm not sure who that receiver is, over the middle of the field. He's got 2, linebackers over the middle. That's a tough throw to squeeze it in there. It's a risk. He could squeeze it in and make it a nice throw or get easily intercepted. But what I like about this play, Fields, instead of forcing that on his first read, it's not there, right? What he's going to do instead is scramble to his left, right? Escape the pocket. Let's get it there. And what I know of Justin Fields is he usually just puts his head down and run, right? Run for the first down. This is 2nd and 9. But instead, he keeps his eyes downfield. This is the part that I like about Fields, that he's shown some flashes of. Keeps his eyes downfield, sees someone open, flip the hips, deliver a dart on the run. perfect accuracy on the run to a wide open George Pickens. Well, not even wide open. It's pretty tight coverage, by the way, shifting to his left. And I think if Justin Fields can figure out a way to keep his eyes down the field, his athleticism can take over, because not only can he run for first downs with his legs, but if he can run around, evade the pressure, keep his eyes down the field, allow Garrett Wilson to break off his route, Justin Fields has the ability to make throws on the run. And his issue is scanning defenses, going through his progressions, holds on to the ball too long. But that's some element of his game that I feel like if it does click, if he can just scramble around, keep his eyes down the field, he can make throws down the football field. His arm is not the issue. People say Fields can't throw. I disagree. He physically can. He's got accuracy, but it's up here where the things get off timing, where that's where it looks like he can't throw. So the question is, will it click with the Jets or will it not?
And what are your thoughts, TD?
First off, that was a terrible play.
How was that a terrible play? Break it down.
You want to bring it up?
Sure.
Here's the problem. And with quarterbacks like Justin Fields, he did make this play work out in his favor because he's mobile, but this is where he's not an anticipatory guy. He's not an anticipatory guy. Like you said, that's a tough throw to make, but it's the one that needs to be made. You know, that guy coming right over to the second level. And number 19, it's a staggered route at the bottom of the screen right here. Right there at the bottom, those two receivers, they're both about to run the same route, both of them cutting across the middle. If you push forward on the play, you'll see that. And right now, I feel like you still have wiggle room in the pocket to just step up and deliver the football on that stagger route to the second guy. But, hey, we're extending the play, and this is his strength. Extending the play, making something happen, but you got to stop eyeing on that, and you still were able to make something. Look at this man right in the middle of the field. That was the one I was talking about, the second guy on the stagger route early in the play. Wide open. That was going to be anticipated coming wide open. I mean, they both were running the same route. Everybody going to pick up that first one. He still hit the first one after out of the pocket, but the guy right behind it, the safer throw, if he would have anticipated, and he would have had 19 out in front of him to block, could have been one of those to the house plays. You see that trail of number 19? That's the one, those staggered routes. You got to hit that second guy. But he panicked in the pocket too early, got out, but he did make a play out of it. You can't knock him for that. That's his strength. But for me, that anticipate, and this is where Tua's strong at. But Tua can't do the latter. He can't do, just in case that stagger wasn't there, he's not going to go out and make the play like Justin Fields made there. So that's why, it is what it is. But, hey, he made a play. You're happy with it. You move the chains. That's all you can ask for. But for him to get better, he's going to have to not have to use his legs as much whenever it's already there. Just my thought.
So one thing that stood out as well, like one specific play against Indianapolis, like when he gets blitzed, he is completely spooked. Like one time they had like a DB clearly showing blitz. He goes, leaving two wide receivers wide open, right? And say, for example, that he were to catch that like immediately, like he would have had an easy pass, easy insurance policy to two guys that probably would have went about like 10 to 15 yards after the fact. But then he ended up taking a 20-yard sack because he just freaked out. So look,
it's all mental.
They're going to coach.
Steelers' offensive line was absolutely atrocious, and I do like the Jets' offensive line. So hopefully Glenn and your offensive coordinator and can give him that peace of mind, and he can feel a bit more comfortable back there. And then maybe that would be a thing of the past because he's never had a good offensive line. So maybe he's solid. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's really up to the Jets' offensive line and this system as well. And we have our own Sam Laporta of this Jets offense. You just haven't seen him yet.
Sam Laporta.
Mason Taylor. Watch Mason Taylor thriving. Jets rookie, second-round pick. He was the third best tight end in the class behind the two really good ones. You got him early in the second round. Laporta was an early second-round pick for them. He was a beast. And the reason why I say Laporta, we're bringing literally the Detroit Lions offense here. They love their tight ends. So just going to make that connection. People say, who's the Jets' number 2 receiver? I think Mason Taylor is going to be in terms of yards next to Garrett Wilson on top of it. So I think that Justin Fields has what he needs around him to succeed. I really genuinely believe he has the weapons, the protection, and the coaching is still up in the air. I don't know if he has the coaching. It's brand new. I can't tell you if it's good or bad yet. But this is his last opportunity to prove himself, and it's going to be up to him. And I think he has the right support system around him in terms of instilling confidence in him. And it's either going to be a long-time backup quarterback for the rest of his career, or he's the Jets' long-term answer. There's no in between. It's those two options, and it's all on him. It's interesting storyline, really.
There's now one crazy storyline I've been seeing, right? This morning on FS1 and several graphics that I have been seeing, a lot of disrespect toward Patrick Mahomes I have been seeing as of late, right? It's getting to the offseason, and I'm starting to see more and more lists of quarterback rankings that have Patrick Mahomes really anywhere between the 3rd and the 4th spot as far as rankings among quarterbacks in the NFL. Is that justified? Because yes, we understand he has the rings, but and for the past
say that
couple
part
of,
again about Mahomes.
Yeah.
Where is he ranked?
So he's been ranked regularly on several different lists from credible sources too, like FS1, like some guys from PFF and some guys from all over, where he's like falling to like the 3rd or 4th best quarterback according to their power rankings. I get that he's had some slower, like regular seasons, and many Chiefs fans like to say that, and the regular season is the preseason for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's when he ultimately ends up turning it on. But I think my question is that justified? And so is it justified? Because now, like where we're seeing it, we're seeing Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen being ranked above him. Sometimes just Burrow, sometimes just Lamar, sometimes Josh.
I kind of have an interesting thought of this. I think this is the reason, and you can disagree, but I think that the Kansas City Chiefs as an organization has unlocked this sense of winning where they don't need Mahomes to be a top tier MVP quarterback to win anymore. They needed to at first, but now they know how to win without relying on that. The Bills need Josh Allen to be MVP in order for them to win. The Cincinnati Bengals, they need Joe Burrow to be MVP and then some. They don't have that defense that the Chiefs have. The Ravens, like all these teams that have these elite quarterbacks that are now in the MVP racings, where Mahomes, they're winning. It'll be different if the Chiefs are like 9-8 all of a sudden, not winning the divisions anymore, not making Super Bowl runs. It'd be one thing. But the Chiefs in the regular season, it seems like Mahomes' metrics, Mahomes' stats, they're not running the same system of an air-rated offense when he first came in the league. And that's the Mahomes we were accustomed to. 50 touchdowns, just him and Tyreek Hill came into the league just explosive. And now they're more running the football with Pacheco, play action to Kelsey over the middle. They're not as explosive. They're just winning in ways. So I think Mahomes being 3rd and 4th, yeah, that makes sense. But if you rank them legacy-wise and say everybody retired, and then you rank the quarterbacks, I think you got to put Mahomes above all of them. But in this moment, that's why Mahomes at 3 and 4 is being talked about, and it is justified from that perspective.
Damn.
In my eyes. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
Shout out Indy.
What are your thoughts, TD? So Pat Mahomes is falling on the power rankings list that we have been seeing. Why is that?
Y'all bear with me. I don't know why I'm lagging.
TD, when are you getting that new laptop, man? Remember when we talked about this months ago?
Yeah, there's no issue.
I'm waiting on it to come in, Rich. You, because you bought it, you paid for it. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I will. But y'all can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, loud and clear.
You're gonna crash out any second, though.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well.
I don't know what's going on.
We're hearing him.
All right. Well, this is why we're late all the time. What was your thoughts of that take I had, Dan, on Mahomes?
Send in.
There he goes. Rebooting.
He's rebooting, man. He's rebooting. Send in the reinforcements. So when it comes into Patrick Mahomes, man, I do think so that where you were going with, where Kansas City no longer needs him to be that guy, is 110% factual. And what I would probably like to point to is exactly what he does right within the playoffs each and every single year. Like what's important for Patrick Mahomes is just to show that he can still do it. And if Kansas City needs him to be that QB he was 3 or 4 years ago regularly during the regular season, he can be. There has never been a time in games that mattered where they needed Patrick Mahomes to make a play where he did. I just think that Kansas City is also accepting that everybody eats type mentality, right? That what they want to do is win at any cost, and they're not so much concerned with padding stats anymore since Patrick Mahomes has already proven that he certainly can. So,
and I also add on top of that, I also think Mahomes, out of all the quarterbacks, has come through the most in the winning moments, in the clutch, in the pressure moments. That's when you win a football game. When you need to make a play, not always, but more often than not, that's why the Chiefs are who they are, going to Super Bowls, winning championships, because he makes those plays more often than not late in the fourth quarter, which wins you games. Maybe he struggled in the first 3 quarters, but he makes that has that last drive, and that's just a difference for me too.
Just gets you going. Yeah, what about you, TD?
My take on this, and King Jamie's in the chat, he's going to be real mad at me, but Patrick Mahomes is never as good as people think he is. He's a good he's a great quarterback. He's great.
So where's he on your list? Not 3 or 4? Lower?
3, 4, 5. I mean, somewhere around there any given year. Because here's the deal. Patrick Mahomes put up some golly stats for like a few years, and all of a sudden, and it came with Super Bowls, automatic top of the list. Bam. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I have studied Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is not the best processor of the field. I'm going to continue to tell y'all that. Patrick Mahomes' superpower, he's so elite at it. And it's the one thing that he hasn't done as much lately, and why the numbers are down. His improvisational skills are the best in the NFL, especially when he had an improvisational receiver like Travis Kelce, who they're just on the same page. Let's also not forget the NFL allows the referees to never call a holding call on Kansas City Chiefs offensive linemen. You know, these are the things that everybody, whatever, Listen, I am telling you now, Patrick Mahomes is great. I'm not taking that from him, but he's not this iconic quarterback that y'all all think. That's why the iconic quarterback he couldn't beat, Brady. That's why he couldn't beat Brady. And you know what? Let me prove to you further why everybody is blinded by anything Patrick Mahomes does wrong. Have you heard anybody criticize this man for his Super Bowl performance that he just had? Have you heard anybody criticizing him? Nope, just automatic pass. It's Mahomes, he was due to finally not have a great game at some point in his career. Yep. No, any quarterback in this league would have been getting killed at how bad he played in that game. Nobody even talk about how terrible he was in that game. Nobody mentions it. They like all the major networks. They don't even make it a topic. If that was Josh Allen in that game, Lamar Jackson, they would have been. Yep. See, at this point, you got to just call it what it is. They let their team down. Patrick Mahomes let his team down in that game. Didn't the man have like 3 picks? Did it like? Oh my! It was just so. I mean, how many times was he improvising in that game, and the guy was open, and he threw it had a bad pass to his feet. It was so bad. You're just not even used to seeing this from him. But now it's rearing its ugly little head, because I'm telling you, Travis Kelce getting a little older, and I'm telling you, I know the key to that team. It's Andy Reid. The system he runs, having that balance, running the football, hard nose. But again, let's not act like the refs don't sit there and not call anything. They got a guy who false starts on every play. They got tackles that hold on every play. You don't get a single yard. People make compilations of playoff games where you got 15 clear as day holdings, none of them called. Other team, the smallest petty holds calling it. So Mahomes is great, but not what everybody make him out to be. There's some added Jordan-esque to this situation. It's just like the NBA. They keep looking for the next Jordan, so they sell guys on you. They give extra benefit for guys. They're looking for that next face of the league. That's all. That's what I think it is.
Damn.
I take Joe Burrow over Mahomes. Start my franchise.
Dude. Holy hell.
Was it not his? Did
Mike's-
he not lose the Super Bowl for his team? I haven't even heard y'all talk about it.
So I'll be honest with you, like, so I do feel like he does have some sense of protection as far as getting absolutely obliterated. And sure, and so I'm sure that there were a couple of people that said, "Oh, well, Pat had like a bad game," but so you were absolutely correct. Say that was Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson,
my gosh, they would
still be talking about it to this day. Like they would still be talking about it to this day of just how terrible both of them looked.
Man, they spent one day slightly mentioning it, and you haven't heard people talk about it. Not even a teaser of has Mahomes' best days been put behind. Not even a teaser. Like they'll make a million pieces of content about other quarterbacks if they did that. Like, are we really going to sit here and act like this man wasn't garbage in the Super Bowl?
Oh,
think about his performance in the Super Bowl, man. Think about his performance. We gave the
dude,
Eagles
you're giving
so
me
much
hope
credit.
that we can get past those fools this year, man. You're giving me hope. You're giving me hope.
That
We're
still
getting
ain't gonna
past
happen
them this year.
That still ain't
Now,
gonna
can we add context to a big reason of why he struggled?
happen. Let's speak.
What?
Speak. It's the great Patrick Mahomes.
An all-time defense?
And
Just saying.
Brady
That was
went up
one of the
against
most
some all-time
dominant
defenses.
And yeah, everything about Mahomes struggling is 100% true. But what I came away from that Super Bowl, I don't know about you guys, was I've never seen a defensive line and a defense dominate more in a Super Bowl. Like in my life.
It was
That
his
was
job to
dominating.
The trenches were insane.
That was
It
most
would've-
dominating. Like the Chiefs looked like they didn't even belong on that field.
But when I
Offensively, the whole
when I
offense
look at
just got
Mahomes'
absolutely
game,
killed.
though, he missed too many throws.
He got
missed
absolutely
too many
killed.
opportunities.
I mean, listen, that was easily his worst Super Bowl performance out of 5. By the way, 5. So yeah, he's got to bounce back and prove it. But that one performance in the Super Bowl, missing those 2 throws and having an absolute humming defense with Vic Fangio starving to pin your ears back, I don't think that now all of a sudden he's dropped the number 5 on the best quarterbacks. I still take him over Burrow, 100%.
How many picks? What did he have in the game?
He finished the game 65 completion percentage, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions, and they were terrible interceptions. I mean, why did you even throw it to that guy? Like, where was his receivers on the play? These ain't bobble interceptions. He like threw it to the defenders.
One of them
right
was
there in the
pick 6 to Cooper DeJean. That was a crazy return by DeJean.
and I don't care about the 60-something yard pass touchdown late in the game when it was pretty much over. They just trying to play prevent. Like, come on, man. Listen, he was horrible in the game, but you know what? It was Mahomes. You know, he deserves a pass at this point. It's cool.
Oh, man. Oh, man. So I'll tell you what. Right now I see that and so the title of this episode is The Dead Period. But I was just made aware that there are currently 5 teams that minicamp start today, which is fun.
Yeah, I realized that. The Giants.
I didn't
It
know
is
that.
good. You have the Giants, you have the Seahawks, the Rams, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Baltimore Ravens are all deep right now into minicamp. So who knows, boys? Maybe we'll get some storylines out of one of those camps tomorrow that we can get all excited about. But one specific player from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came out, I think it was yesterday, was Mike Evans. And he went out to the world and said that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the best wide receiving core in the NFL. Is that something you buy, folks? Let us know.
Who has the best receiver room?
That the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the best wide receiver room in the NFL. You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin, you have Emeka Egbuka, you have Tez Johnson.
My
Jalen
guy.
McMillan.
All right. Yeah. Tez Johnson. I forgot he's a Buck. They do got the best.
Tez, one of the two. It's kind of tough for me. Like maybe the Rams like
And they
speak
got
out to me a
Sterling
little
Shepard. Holy. They're deep. That's
They
what they
are.
are. Oh my
They
goodness.
are.
Their
Like
top
they
3
hammered
are
down on
all.
that damn wide receiver room this year.
We got one of the most underrated wide
How
receivers.
much help
of this
does Baker
generation.
Mayfield need, bro? All right.
The Buccaneers, the way that their football team is run, it's inspiring from a cap perspective. They have a man in their front office called Mike Greenberg. The Jets interviewed him to be their GM, actually. He's known as their cap guru. He's like a genius with the cap, how to maintain all this talent and do this. You talk about that Chris Godwin contract, like a big reason was because of this guy. Emeka Egbuka is going to be a stud. And the fact that now he's with Mike Evans, who is the most underrated wide receiver of this generation, future Hall of Famer, first ballot. Chris Godwin, who's he going to be after that injury? You got McMillan at number 4, who is a really quality wide receiver who put up 460 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. 8 touchdowns he had. Sterling Shepard, who's your vet. I mean, you know what you're getting from Shepard. He's a veteran in this league. Trey Palmer, not really anything to be sensational about. But Tez Johnson, it's my guy. They slept on him in the draft. He fell all the way to the 7th round. That's crazy.
He's that dude.
Yeah, bro. He dominated at the Senior Bowl. He dominated, bro. I know that's different at the Senior Bowl in the NFL, but I love Tez Johnson. I interviewed him, and he compares his game to like a Tyler Lockett, a Tank Dell, Cooper Kupp type of vibe. So looking at their depth chart, bro, you may be onto something. This receiver room is deep with the Buccaneers. It's not just deep. It's also star-studded with 2 stars, a rookie first-round pick, and their running back. You can argue they have the best running back duo in the league too, by the way.
How do you feel about the defense?
They also have the best running back duo in the league. Their defense, I mean, they got Todd Bowles still there. They're always going to play no matter who's there. Hassan Reddick, bum. Levante David is still playing.
Watch Hassan Reddick go off for the
probably, bro. Vita Vea, who's a stud. They still got some quality players. Antoine Winfield, a beast in their secondary. Right? And Todd Bowles is their coach. So their defense is always going to get the job done. But their offense is low. Like, talk about loaded. Their offense is loaded, man. That's a loaded offense. Their 3 running backs are great. Bucky Irving was a beast for them last year as a rookie, taking Rashad White's job, who's supposed to be their bell cow. And then Sean Tucker, their 3rd running back from Cuse. Dude, I was high in the Bucs last year. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year after reading this. They're coming out of the NFC. They're my sleeper team. Let's go, Baker. You thought Baker was good last few years? Watch this.
It's going to be a competitive year all the way around.
You know what? Bold.
It's going to be a good time.
Okay, right now, off the top of your head, Baker Mayfield was ranked where in passing touchdowns last year?
I feel like it has to be top 5.
So which one is it?
I would say third.
4.
Tied for 2nd most.
Damn.
With 41. How many
Baker
yards?
Mayfield, man.
Passing yards, where did he rank?
3rd.
4,500 flat. I mean, did we realize what Baker did last year, dude? Hey, look at these numbers.
He's got to be doing it, man. Listen, like, he killed narratives too, right? One thing that stands out to me about Baker is that soon as when we saw Canales leave, like, we were just like, oh, okay, like, now he's going to have Liam Cohn. He's probably going to go on ahead and falter, but he goes out and he has yet another incredible season. If he goes out there next year and puts up similar numbers to this,
he's top 10, bro.
Nothing negative you could. Yeah, dude, you know what?
If he replicates this,
I feel like we should.
Mayfield's a top 10 quarterback.
I feel like we should start to put Baker in the top 10. Like, say that you ask most people, like, so right outside of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, no one's including him in their top 10. But I think he deserves debate. Yeah, I really do.
Even his first year with Tampa was solid. Not that good, but 28 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, like 95 rating. And then his second year with Tampa is where he really exploded. And if he can replicate what he did again this season, that's 3 straight years with the Bucs, putting up really good numbers. Like, yeah, Baker Mayfield's one of those quarterbacks we're gonna have to start having a real conversation about him soon.
So realistically, like, say for example that like you like had to compare him to another NFL QB, like somebody that is just above him on the power rankings and someone that's just below him, who would be those 2 QBs? So we can get a better understanding of like how good we think he truly is.
I think where he's trending, and this may even sound disrespectful because you can argue he's better already.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, exactly. Yeah. He had a better.
He's better than Jared Goff.
Yeah, exactly.
You can argue that, but given the history, you got to keep Jared Goff above for now.
Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams, and then he came to the Lions, and now he has back-to-back seasons. Like, there's more consistency with Goff. But I think, like Matt Ryan in his prime, I think I can see.
Okay.
Like a prime Matt Ryan is what I think Baker Mayfield could be.
Prime Matt Ryan is what he could be.
Bro. Matt Ryan, when they went to the Super Bowl, it was low-key with Julio Jones and those boys. Matt Ryan was a dog.
So we should go on ahead and do like a would you rather Baker Mayfield edition. And so I'll tell you what, like I would take Baker over Trevor Lawrence. And I would take Baker over Brock Purdy. And so I'm sorry, 187 and Jesse in the chat.
Man, why are you even mentioning Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence ain't in these guys' realm.
Yeah, he's not.
Well, he's a first overall pick, so you still got to bring him up, even though he's not yet.
Yeah, he's a first overall pick, so I'd probably take him over that.
He done lost his love.
Listen, I'm trying to take.
Would you take him for Kyler Murray?
Coach now that Baker had Liam Cohen, he's got the same coach that Baker just exploded with. So,
oh yeah, I definitely take Baker over Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Baker might have even elevated over C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love.
Oh, that's
the realm
debate.
where he is
that's
right
the
now.
Debate. That's the debate.
The realm.
Baker or C.J. Stroud? Who you taking? Damn.
I mean, Baker's hot right now. And CJ doesn't have a large sample size.
I think there's a year where Baker like goes to the Super Bowl. Not this year, but in his career. In his career. I'm not saying this season. I think there's the playoffs where Baker gets sizzling hot and he's just like unstoppable and he just gets in a flow and he's got a team around him and it's going to be with the Bucks.
See, Baker is a step above Tua Tagovailoa. See, Tua
a little bit bigger above.
Tua can get you to a playoffs and never win nothing. Baker can get you to the playoffs and win the first and maybe even the second round one day.
Yeah.
He ain't advancing past the championship round. He's not that quarterback. See, that's
so someone says Jordan Love over Baker. I'm taking Baker.
It's debatable, but
I'm taking Mayfield on that one.
I got a question for you guys. It'd probably be a similar spot that he is now. I was convinced the Jets were drafting Baker Mayfield because the Jets had the 3rd overall pick. And going into that draft, everybody thought the Browns were drafting Sam Darnold #1, if you remember. That was the consensus. And then we wake up on draft day, breaking news, Baker Mayfield is expected to go #1. So during that whole process, I was like, Sam's #1, and the Jets are getting Baker at #3. We're going to get Baker Mayfield on the Jets. If he got drafted to the Jets, he would have probably been a bust for us, right? And found the same path. But he wouldn't have been good with the Jets because it'd be a bad organization, right? You would agree? Instead of Sam? If Baker got drafted by the Jets instead of Sam Darnold.
No. Y'all would have ruined that kid. Y'all would have ruined him.
Yeah, probably.
You'd have ruined him. I mean, come on. I mean, Sam Darnold balled out last year, so you'd have ruined him.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? Like that's what 4th and Forever is all about. That is what 4th and Forever is all about, are these hot topic debates. We just found out, like we said, that there's 5 training camps currently going on. And I'm sure that we will be getting some storylines out of those for tomorrow's episode. As many of you know, we are live Monday through Thursday, all right, at 2 p.m. EST. So if you haven't already, please do us a favor and turn on those bell notifications so you never miss an opportunity to tune in live. Richie, what would you like to say to the audience before we set them off?
Appreciate everybody tuning in to another episode of 4th and Forever. We got the AFC East Roundtable live tomorrow night, 4th and Forever live tomorrow. All week long, we got you through the dead zone, even though there's still some mini camp going on, and we're excited about it, man. So hit that like button. Let's do it.
That's what you got, TD.
Great show. Yeah, man. We need, you know what we need to do? An official Roundtable Sports QB rankings. We need to just lay it out what it is and put it out. Because
I feel like that's what we do.
Yeah, we need to go
tomorrow.
ahead.
All right, dude. You know what? So tomorrow is the QB rankings episode.
Can we start Thursday? Because I'm
all right, we'll do it Thursday. So tomorrow. Oh, you're not here tomorrow. Who's with us tomorrow? Troy?
I don't know. Did he line someone up?
We're waiting on the reply.
We're waiting on the reply. All right. Well, Thursday we are going to do an official QB ranking. And then you know what? Like, might as well just do rankings for the rest of the damn offseason. How about that? Bro, I have the best website to help you out with rankings. Please slack it to me, my friend.
Can we make our own?
Yeah,
we can, but like we're talking about research. We're talking about research.
One day. I meant like one day, not like right. Yeah, I'm gonna make her a
yeah.
website to use tomorrow, guys. I'm just gonna code it all night.
Do it.
Yeah, dude. Hey, it's Chat GPT, baby. It's Chat
Yeah.
GPT. That's what it is,
I
folks.
wonder what
Thank you
chat-
so
what
much
chat
for
GPT
tuning
would
in.
ring.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Fourth and Forever, brought to you by Roundtable Sports. Real coverage from real fans. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Deuces. We are out.
Two are better than Mahomes.
We're still live.
Yeah, let's go. Another hour.